But first tonight, as the new Maine legislature begins work, we are likely to hear about dairy farms. A lot of Maine's farms are once again at a crisis point because they can't make enough money to keep going.
Just think of what our rural landscape would look like if we lost our dairy farms. And what about the economy of the towns where those farms are located? As Don Kerrigan shows us, people in the industry say as the state and farmers look for answers, that's what's at stake.
On Sheepscott Valley Farm in Whitefield, the work never ends. Mike Moody is pushing feed to his milking herd of about 70 cows, plus an equal number of calves and cows not currently producing milk. It is hard work and it's expensive.
So it's soy, corn, barley, wheat midds. There's some minerals.
Like the grain, essential for giving the protein the animals need. And on this organic farm, it has to be just right.
This, you said, that's your biggest single expense.
Absolutely.
And it's just one of many reasons that many dairy farms are in trouble. So much so that the legislature and the governor created a special task force to study what it will take to save Maine's dairy industry.
I mean, this is a labor of love. Like, we don't have very many days off. We don't get to do sort of the normal day-to-day things that many families who just work 9-to-5 jobs do.
Annie Watson is Mike's wife, working with him on the farm they bought 11 years ago, as they also raise their 3 kids. Costs are up for every farmer, she says.
All of the inputs that everyone sort of utilizes on a day-to-day basis are just exorbitant on farms.
Annie is also president of the Maine Dairy Industry Association and a member of the State Dairy Task Force.
We were milking 40-some cows.
Along with Heath Miller, a 5th-generation farmer from Newburgh.
I think you'll find that 60, 70, 80% of the farms are on the edge. And a lot of it is the fact that farms can't be profitable enough to attract that next generation.
Very proud to support.
They traveled to Augusta on a recent day to meet the legislature's new Agriculture Committee. These lawmakers will play a central role in deciding how much help the farms can get. Maine already has a complex system of price supports for dairy farmers called the tier system. It provides a financial boost when prices are too low. The amount of funding is determined by cost projections every 3 years. Hard to do in a volatile market, the farmers say, and hard to compete with all of the other demands for money in Augusta.
And this last cost production study, we were looking, it showed that we needed $6.55 more than we did prior to the pandemic.
Those costs are based on 100 pounds of milk, so $6.55 per hundredweight.
We bargained with the legislature and they supported $1.65. So even though that program is there, and honestly $1.65 is way better than no increase at all, but many farms are still $4 from breaking even.
They say the Dairy Task Force identified that funding as a key to keeping farms in business.
On a dairy farm,
state leaders agree. Craig Lapine heads Maine's Bureau of Agriculture, Food, and Rural Resources.
What the task force is saying is whatever that difference is, it should be all of that difference, so that farmers are at least breaking
fully
even.
Fund.
Yes.
The farmers say they need that dependable funding to know their basic costs will be covered, even if it's just break even.
Is that money most years essential for you to stay in business?
For many farms, absolutely.
Yeah. For yours?
Yes, absolutely. And every cent that comes onto our farm goes right back out.
Meaning the money goes out to pay a lot of other people and businesses. Dairy farms, they all told us, are vital for the rest of Maine agriculture.
We're the backbone of our agricultural community because our farms are so spread out and because we're so equipment and infrastructure heavy. So we rely on a system of equipment dealers and suppliers, seed suppliers, fertilizer. There's so many different things that our farms rely on.
But the numbers are telling. In the early 1980s, Maine had more than 1,000 dairy farms. Now there are 138.
Just in our town alone, I as a boy, I can remember 7 in our town, and we're the only one in our town.
Despite those sad numbers, they say Maine's overall milk production has stayed fairly stable because farms have gotten bigger. But now there are signs even milk production is starting to go down.
We're now at a point where the amount of milk may be starting to go down, and that is really a danger signal.
Last fall, the small Holton Farms dairy was the latest to stop producing milk. That leaves just 2 in the state, Oakhurst and Hood in Portland, still producing and packaging milk. Keeping farms and dairies in business is a complicated thing, but those closest to it say if Maine's dairy farms can't make it, our state will lose something irreplaceable, an essential part of who we are.
With theoretically tight budgets and lots of hands out for money in Augusta, the dairy farmers are hoping to have their price support system fully funded. There are other issues too, including cost of health insurance, that are also vital to keeping farmers in business.
But they say the key is income. We were told there are a number of young people willing to take over the family farms, but if they can't make a living and support their own future families, they're not likely to do it.